After a very long time of waiting, Tesla has finally released the information everyone was waiting for. They wanted to know what the Tesla Model 3 affordable electric car was going to look like. Me personally, I don't think people really want the Model 3. I think what people really wanted is they wanted a Model S that was affordable. When I first reviewed the P85 back in 2012, Tesla had a 40 kilowatt hour battery that made the car relatively inexpensive at below $60,000. Unfortunately, what they did was they quickly got rid of that battery pack option, and they claimed it was because of low viewer interest. But the simple fact is, viewers didn't even have enough time to consider a 40 kilowatt battery, and many people would have felt that 100 miles was more than enough for them, especially if they lived in cities. In my opinion, they should have kept that battery. They should have never discontinued that battery. So at least the entry point of a Model S would have been a little bit less expensive than it is if you would try to buy a Model S 60 kilowatt version. So the Model 3, as you can see, the interior is it's just sparse. It's very Spartan. There's nothing in there except seats and a steering wheel and a very large touchscreen display. I'm pretty sure that many people were actually a little disappointed and they were expecting more. But the thing about it is, if they're going to promise a rock bottom price, you have to assume that you're not really getting much out of the car except for things that you already know exist in the Tesla Model S. I won't say that this looks bad in any way, but I have to wonder what the driving experience will ultimately be like if you have only a big monitor in the middle of the car without having a regular speedometer or regular driver gauge cluster, even like the Model S has. And granted, they're saving a lot of money by not having that in the car. But me personally, this reminds me a lot of the last generation Honda Civic, how they tried to centralize all the driving information. It may work out just fine because I do know that they'll be able to move that steering wheel over in countries where you have right-hand drive instead of left-hand drive here in America. So in the long run, just having a giant monitor probably does save a lot of money. But whether or not this goes over well with most buyers, we'll find out. Because, there's always those issues that you don't realize until you actually own a vehicle and start driving it. There were a lot of issues that popped up with the Tesla Model S, despite the fact that it's a pretty awesome car. But there were some automotive review sites that had to reverse their high ratings of the Model S based on certain parts of it failing and rendering the car unusable. I remain hopeful. As a Tesla share owner, I remain hopeful. Hopefully this does very well. Hopefully this car ultimately makes me a lot of money. 215 miles worth of range should be enough for many people now that superchargers are more ubiquitous. Ultimately, what we need is more and more and more superchargers or power charging stations that the Tesla can adapt to. Other than that, a lot of people don't know whether or not that's a hatchback or not. Hopefully it is. But thus far, the car looks pretty nice, but, obviously it looks like a squashed Model S. So hopefully the interior space is decent enough for a family of 5.